got to hit one more button. All right. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Sonia McGowan. I'm the owner of Covenant Pediatric Wellness Center in Jefferson City, Missouri. And today's Facebook Live guest is Charles Zeitler. He is the sales director for A Major Difference. They are the company that produces the IonCleanse foot bath. And if you've been around me at all, or my clinic, or listened to any of my podcasts, or watched any of my videos or webinars, you know I am a huge fan of the IonCleanse. So, Charles, I'm so happy that you're here. So, just jump in and let's talk about the IonCleanse. So, for anyone new to this technology, explain what it is.
Sure. The IonCleanse is a detox foot bath. It's a very non-invasive, full-body detox. People who have never seen it before are going to look at it and be like, what is going on here? And so I really appreciate this opportunity. The user puts their feet into a tub of warm water. Also in that tub is an array that's connected to the IonCleanse. The IonCleanse introduces an electrical current into the water. This is one of the things that separates the IonCleanse from all other detox foot baths. The IonCleanse is actually the only detox foot bath engineered to be a detox foot bath. Every other one is an imported like power supply or power converter, battery charger that just puts dirty grid electricity into the water, right? Harmful EMFs, AC ripple, leakage current, hazardous voltages, can even damage electronics in your home. The IonCleanse will not do that. We use a medical grade power supply. We introduce a clean, filtered, biocompatible frequency into the water. That frequency creates electrolysis, separates the H2O into hydrogen and hydroxide ions. The array of the IonCleanse, also the only detox foot bath that does this, can go back and forth between positive and negative polarity. That means when the IonCleanse is in positive polarity, it's creating an abundance of negative ions, and it's mobilizing positively charged toxins in your body. When the IonCleanse is in negative polarity, it's creating a bunch of positively charged ions, mobilizing negatively charged toxins in your body. We can get into that a little bit later, but it will mobilize toxins in your body much like a sauna does. Better than a sauna, the IonCleanse will actually draw some of those toxins out of your feet into the bath water. So they're literally pulled out of your body into the bath water. A majority of those toxins that we're mobilizing, your body's own natural detox pathways are going to eliminate over the next 3 to 5 days. So the IonCleanse, in addition to detoxing with your feet in the foot bath, facilitates detox for days following the cleanse. And that's because it elicits the parasympathetic response in the user, rest and digest. And that's where you need to be to detox. And this is no other detox foot bath can do this. None of them. Like all of these things that the IonCleanse does specifically, intentionally generate this, what we call the relaxation response, that parasympathetic response. And that is really a benefit that yields more than just detox, right? You work with children with maybe an ASD diagnosis or PANS or PANDAS. They're probably stuck in the sympathetic state. So one of the reasons that the IonCleanse is so successful in those communities is not only does it detox, but we're also getting you into that parasympathetic state and keeping you in that parasympathetic state. And that's where a body needs to be to heal itself.
You know, it's amazing what we see clinically with kids. Most parents will say, oh my gosh, my kid slept. My kid was peeing all the time. They pooped. All of that is a parasympathetic response. So it's proof that the IonCleanse flips that switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. That's what we see in real life that happens with these kids. So how did the IonCleanse get involved with complex kids?
You know, that was before my time. I joined A Major Difference. Actually, last month was 1 year. But the founder of the company and then his son, when he took it over, believed in the IonCleanse and knew the IonCleanse and did their best to get it out into markets and into communities. And when they were first discovered by the autism community, the success that people had really exploded our trajectory and our growth. Yeah.
So I have been around this company a long time. So I think, gosh, I was at a Generation Rescue conference in Dallas in probably 2015, and the the company was doing a talk, just a session, and I decided last minute I would go, and my husband was already there. He's like, "Come meet me. I want to see this one." And I won't lie, I rolled my eyes. I'm like, "Yeah, it's hokey. Like, no." And he's like, "Come on, let's see what it's all about." And so they were having a drawing. So as you walked in the door, you got a ticket, you listened to the presentation. I listened to the presentation and I thought, "Okay, well, okay, I might be interested in this." It still seemed kind of hokey, right? And so they did a drawing to win an IonCleanse unit. Well, I won. Like, I never win drawings. I never, ever. But I won this one. And I was like, well, okay, I'll give it a shot. And so at the time, my son would have been about 9 or 10, and he was really, really struggling with an MSG allergy. And he also like was struggling with gluten and dairy. We were, really having to change his diet a lot. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try it with Rowan and see. And so we did 3 days on, 1 day off for 2 weeks. And sort of at the end of that 2 weeks, remember it's an MSG allergy, and it was very severe for him. Like, we'd been to the ER a couple of times thinking he had appendicitis. I mean, it was really ruling our lives at this point. And so we, on a Friday night, said, let's get takeout. Oh, let's have Chinese. Well, I forgot to tell the gal at the restaurant, no MSG. We're halfway through the meal and it hits me. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say no MSG. Rowan's eating along. He's doing fine. Did not get sick. He has never had a reaction to MSG since. And that was just 2 weeks on the IonCleanse. So from there, like, I've got goosebumps talking about it. It's been 10 years. So from there, I was all in. I'm like, okay, I've got to figure this out. So I started using it in my clinic, eventually started presenting at conferences on behalf of A Major Difference, like just talking about the technology and how we use it in my clinic, and how well it works for kids with autism and other complex needs. So AMD has been a big kind of part of my career in helping kids on the spectrum and with other complex needs. So it's near and dear to my heart for sure.
That's awesome to hear. When I joined A Major Difference, I had seen an ad for a wellness an alternative wellness company hiring for a salesperson. And I lived in Colorado, and I thought, oh, this could be a really cool job. What's this? So I put a great resume together and sent it in and got a call back. And when I learned what it was, I was like, you make what? What is this?
Yeah.
So I accepted the position, and very graciously, I had 2 solid months of onboarding and training, like time to really dive into the IonCleanse. And you viewers might not know this. There are some groups on Facebook that we didn't create, we don't moderate, they're customer created, but they focus on the IonCleanse. One of them is IonCleanse by AMD for everyone. One of them is IonCleanse by AMD for ASD. And the ASD one has over 10,000 members in it, maybe 11,000 members in it. And in that group, people routinely and regularly post about the IonCleanse. And again, it's not our group, so you get everything. You get naysayers, you get apologist believers, you get people who are on the fence. You see it all. And the testimonies in that group are the main driver of why I said, not only am I excited about, do I like this job? I'm excited about this job. Like when I saw the difference it made, again, the IonCleanse does not cure, treat, prevent any illness or disease. It is a detox device. It is medical grade detox. It is a fantastic detox. And when you're detoxing and when you're in that parasympathetic state, rest and digest, and your body's now back to where it should be, back at a baseline, it can now do what it's supposed to do. And the human body is remarkable, and the healing that can happen when the body has what it needs to heal itself is just spectacular and phenomenal. Like you said, your son not having that MSG, like I can't speak to the mechanism of that. I don't know how that worked. I don't know what pathways were cleared. It's awesome to hear. We hear stories like that all the time, but just it's remarkable. I've heard lots of stories of parents with children who are nonverbal, and after starting a cleanse protocol, children start talking. They might have
Mhm.
not talked for 3 years or 5 years. Like
Yeah.
that kind of testimony is so powerful.
Yeah.
Um, and it won me over immediately. I haven't looked back. Yeah.
So when a person is in an ion cleanse session, so their feet are in the water, turn the machine on, it's tap water and salt that is added to the water.
Maybe salt. Sometimes
Maybe
you have to
salt.
add salt, right?
Yeah.
Depends on
It
the
depends
mineral
on the water
content of the
supply.
water. Yep.
Yeah. So the water changes color. So let's talk about 2 things. The water will change color with or without feet, and what does the color mean? So start with the with or without feet situation.
Sure. Okay. So the ions are charged particles. They're going to neutralize other charged particles. That means bond with them. So anything in the water, or if you have to add salt, the reason you might need to add salt to your water is an insulator. It's not a conductor. So if it doesn't have a high enough mineral content, it won't effectively conduct the electricity. So a very simple way of addressing that is just adding a good mineral salt to the water of a cleanse. A major difference, every ion cleanse you order, we send real salt, right? Just a high quality, good mineral salt. We send a 1/8 measuring teaspoon, add it to the water. It's not a lot of salt, just increases the mineral content. The ions are going to interact and neutralize charged particles from that salt. Like it's just going to happen. So even if you don't put feet in the water, you will see color change, right? If your feet are in the water, you will see color change almost immediately within the first couple of minutes. That has nothing to do with you, or probably has nothing to do with you. Again, that's the ions just neutralizing stuff that's in the water. They will start mobilizing the toxins in your body, though, much like a sauna mobilizes toxins in your body. And eventually, 15, 20, 25 minutes in, you'll start seeing effects in the water that are from the user. Color change does not mean detox. IonCleanse does mean detox. To say exactly, and Doc, you see me at a conference now. To say exactly what you're detoxing, like what's this color mean, what's this color mean, is not diagnostic at all, right? You're a practitioner. You've given thousands of these to people whose health histories you're familiar with. You can look at a foot bath 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in, and you probably have a pretty good idea of what's going on because of your expertise. Most people don't, right? I would say it's fascinating. It's awesome to watch. If you and your family are detoxing, you will probably see differences in color and content in the water. If you live somewhere like Phoenix, Arizona, where the mineral content of the water is incredibly high, you're probably going to see really similar foot bath results, because there's a lot of what's going on in the water is the water itself. But the IonCleanse is still mobilizing toxins in your body. It's still eliciting that parasympathetic response. Your natural detox pathways will be operating at a higher efficacy over the next 3 to 5 days. You will be detoxing. So if you really want to know what's in the water, the best thing to do would be to do a lab test, right? We have research on our website. We have 5 studies published right now. Our most recent study is awesome. It's live blood analysis with a dark field microscope. It's the conclusions that we've been able to draw from it are spectacular, fascinating. But detox is happening with your feet in the foot bath. More detox is going to happen in the days following the foot bath. So does it answer your question? What's this color mean? No, but I would say that's like, don't get stuck in that, right?
Yeah.
IonCleanse, world-class detox. And again, more detox in the days following the foot bath than what happens in the actual foot bath.
I generally like to tell people, like you said, don't get hung up about the color change. Just know when there's a robust color change, it means a really good detox. And so, yeah, a lot of people are like, but it's green. What does green mean? Or I see flecks. What do the flecks mean? Or I see bubbles. What does that mean? And we really kind of try to stay away from what I tell people is it's not like reading tea leaves, right? It's just this is a great, good, robust detoxification session. So let's go back and talk about the polarities and the positive and negatively charged toxins and how you can kind of manipulate that, whether it's mold or what some other sort of toxin that you're trying to address?
Sure. Okay. So again, the IonCleanse array operates in dual polarity, both positive and negative. It switches back and forth. Very generally speaking, inorganic toxins have a positive polarity, like heavy metals, generally speaking. Inorganic toxins, mold, candida, Lyme diaph, gram-negative bacteria are going to have a negative polarity. There are exceptions, and then environmental toxins are gonna polarity is going to be different. You'll have environmental toxins both positive and negative polarity. So when the IonCleanse again is in positive polarity, it's creating an abundance of negative ions, and that's mobilizing the positively charged toxins in your body. And then pulling some of them out through your feet, most of them your body eliminating through its own detox pathways. When it's a negative polarity, you're going to create a bunch of positively charged ions, and that's going to mobilize those negatively charged toxins. So A Major Difference has two models of the IonCleanse, the Solo and the Premier. The Premier was introduced first. It has 5 different modes. The first 2 modes are all positive and negative polarity, generally for practitioner use. The next 3 modes are different splits of that positive and negative polarity. Of those 3 cleanse modes on the Premier, the most commonly used one is mode number 3. So much so that 5 years after introducing the Premier to market, we heard practitioners say, mode 3 is the most common. Mode 3 is the most common. People want to use these at home. What can we do? We introduced the Solo. The Solo is called the Solo because it has one cleanse mode. It's mode number 3 from the Premier. Same strength, same efficacy, same technology, identical cleanse to Premier mode number 3, designed for home use, save some money. The Solo, though, can be reversed. So mode number 3 from the Premier is 70% positive polarity, 30% negative polarity, which for most people is the ideal cleanse setting. If you were to have to say there's one cleanse device for the entire population, what's the most effective program? What we've discovered over all of the cleansing we've done is that 70-30 split is really powerful. But you might have someone that has Lyme or mold exposure, and they want to target those negatively charged toxins. The Solo, with the push of a button, you can reverse the 70-30 positive negative to 70-30 negative positive. So it's pretty robust. It sort of has 2 modes on it, and then you can more target your needs as an individual. When you go to a practitioner, you might find that practitioner has the Solo. Why does the practitioner have the Solo? Because the Solo is very powerful. It's very popular. It's super easy to use. It's gonna detox. It's gonna detox anybody. It's robust. It's not that the Solo isn't a lower grade or is a lower grade or anything like that. No, it's the same technology, same workmanship, same craftsmanship. Both the Solo and the Premier are designed to last 10 years, right? So they come with multi-year warranties, but Dr. McGowan, how long have your IonCleanse lasted? That one you won 10 years ago, is it still going?
Yeah. Oh, it's a workhorse. Like I think I have 3 total, and I still have the original one. And all I have to do is buy new salt and buy new arrays every couple thousand minutes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I do a webinar series as well every month. If you get our newsletter, we do a webinar every month, and I've done a webinar on polarity. So Doc, what I can do is I can give you that link, and anybody who reaches out to you, you can share it with them. But these are on demand, so if you have more questions, just you can check it out. It's very interesting.
Nice. I know that I very frequently recommend the IonCleanse for my patients, particularly patients with mold, particularly patients with Lyme. And if a kid has pandas, if they have autism, whatever their complex need is, in almost every case, the IonCleanse is going to help them. There are some kids who might need a little extra support, though. Do you, in terms of side effects or contraindications, what do you have to say about that?
So side effects, contraindications are different. We don't have many contraindications, but we do have some. Generally, a child or a young adult with an ASD diagnosis or PANS or PANDAS, they can effectively use the IonCleanse pending medication. If you're taking a medication where a level of that medication needs to be present in your body, like maybe a blood thinner or maybe antipsychotic medication or something like that. That could be a contraindication. Talk to your doctor about using the IonCleanse for that. But very generally, totally fine to use. It's incredibly safe. You can pair it with almost any other modality. You might see a Herxheimer response or a detox response in the first couple of weeks of cleansing. And our advice generally is this is a good sign. This means detox is happening. This is a response to those mobilized toxins. There might be some detox impairment, but we're going to get you in that parasympathetic state. We're going to get your body limit these toxins. Generally, after 2 to 3 weeks, these will subside. And my advice is typically, if you can handle it, power through it. Now, some parents, maybe if it's a parent of a child, the behaviors might be too much, can't handle it. So in those cases, we say, okay, instead of cleansing for 30 minutes, go to 20 minutes, right? If 20 minutes is too long, go to 15 minutes, right? Find a level where it's okay. And then slowly every 2 to 3 weeks, increase that time. We like to start with a 5-minute increase, right? But if you start with a 5-minute increase and that's too much, go to a 1-minute increase. I've had customers with Lyme have really bad detox responses to the IonCleanse, to the point where they start at like 3 or 4 minutes and they might go up 1 minute every 2 to 3 weeks. Again, this is not a sprint, right? We're detoxing. We're talking about your future. If it takes 6 months to incorporate it and get your body to a spot where it can use the IonCleanse, it's worth it. Do it, try it. We're not. It's the IonCleanse isn't going to like your son's experience with the MSG allergy is not typical where people are going to have these very incredible, miraculous things happen in a short period of time. But most people are going to have incredibly healthy impacts come with prolonged use of the IonCleanse. It doesn't work in your closet. It's not going to work in your cat.
So
30
smart.
minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week to start. It seems like a lot. It's when you consider the benefits of the changes it can make in your life, it's a very small sacrifice to make.
One of the things I tell patients a lot, particularly kids with autism, they are very well known for having mitochondrial dysfunction. So they don't turn they don't make cellular energy very efficiently. And you have to make cellular energy in order for your detox pathways to work, right? And so I generally, before I recommend the IonCleanse, I do a lot of labs with kids. So I always assess their mitochondrial function and their mineral levels, because the kids who I've seen not do well on the IonCleanse, it's generally because they're dehydrated, they don't have enough minerals, and their mitochondrial function is poor. And so that often will remedy, a lot of kids. It just ensures that they do well. I've seen few, if any, side effects at all from other than good things like kids sleeping and pooping and talking and right, less self-injury, fewer behaviors. So we love the IonCleanse around here, as if you can't tell. So why? So one of the most common questions I get, gosh, I'd love to have an IonCleanse, but it's pretty pricey. Can't I just get a $300 unit from Amazon?
Yeah.
And I always say no. And why do you say no?
Well, and I sort of touched on this earlier, right? But I would go back to the craftsmanship. So A Major Difference basically created this category. And what you see out there are, to call them knockoffs is inaccurate. Even more expensive ones that are maybe half the price of ours, they are literally imported devices that are power supplies, battery chargers, or batteries. They're designed for mechanical use or powering equipment or charging a device or a tool, something like that. So it's just dirty grid electricity. And dirty grid electricity is not conducive to health or use with the human body. Not only does the IonCleanse unit itself clean and filter that current, the power supply we use is a medical grade power supply. So the electricity comes out of the wall, it goes into the power supply of the IonCleanse, and then goes to the IonCleanse. So we're already starting with medical grade electricity, basically. Electricity designed for use with the human body. That's why we can say it's true medical grade detox, because it is. From there, we're cleaning and filtering that current. no leakage current, no AC ripple, no hazardous voltages. Like if you look at competing devices, there's something you have to hold in your hand, or a bracelet you wear on your wrist, or maybe a belt you wear around your waist. This is dangerous, right? These grounding things should not be necessary, right? The power cords on these devices are probably very long. They have GFCI fuses on them, or switches. They have warnings: do not use near or around water. Don't handle with wet hands. Guys, this is a detox foot bath. There's water there. You can take the IonCleanse and drop it into the foot bath, and the user's going to be fine. There's no danger. We've been in business since 2002, and we have a perfect safety record. Don't drop your IonCleanse in the foot bath. It might need it. The unit itself is not designed to do that. But what I'm saying is it's very safe, right? You're not going to injure yourself. There's no danger of electrical shock. There's no danger of jacking up your television or your stereo when you're plugged into your outlet. Nothing like that. When we were at a conference recently, and there was a gentleman there whose name I'll keep, but he's basically a Silicon Valley tech guy, exited a company, and has become really interested in alternative health practices, and specifically the impact of frequencies on people's bodies. So he had a briefcase of equipment to measure every kind of frequency, and it was super interesting. And we have an FCC stamp on the back of the IonCleanse, right? We're not a radio station. Why do we have an FCC stamp? Well, we've passed testing to show that there are no harmful EMFs on this device, so we're proud of that stamp. So he said no harmful EMFs, and I said nope. He goes, great, I'm going to take readings. And we said awesome. And he goes, really, you don't care? And we said, absolutely not, we don't care. Good, have at it. So people are in the chairs cleansing, and he has all these tools out. And I was a little disappointed. And, you're never going to get BS from me. The display screen of the IonCleanse itself, like when he had the EMF reader up to this part, within an inch or so of this, there were some EMFs coming out of the display screen, less than the person sitting in the chair than their cell phone. Once he got 2 inches away from the display screen, couldn't pick it up anymore. So there are some electronics in it, and they do have EMFs, but it's not like it's a robust range at all, like literally inches away. 6 inches away from the IonCleanse, you can't distinguish EMFs from what's in the background of the room. The electricity flowing through the extension cord going to the IonCleanse had more frequency emissions than the IonCleanse itself did. Like
Wow.
It's awesome. And none of these competing devices that you can get online are going to do that. None of them are going to engage or elicit that parasympathetic response. Conversely, if it's that dirty grid electricity, and that depends on the time of day in your location or how often it could be anything, will elicit the sympathetic response. It could put you into fight or flight. So you might not even detox with your feet in the foot bath, let alone detox for the next 4 or 5 days afterwards. It's just, is it expensive? Yeah. When Dr. McGowan won her IonCleanse solo in 2015, at that time it was $1,995, and it was that price when we introduced it to market in 2007. And today in 2025, 10 years after you won it, 18 years after we introduced it, it is still $1,995. We understand it's expensive, or the cost is appreciable. We do everything we can to keep it as affordable as possible. We have, there have been advancements in technology that allow us to maintain that price point and not sacrifice any efficacy. And I don't think there's anything you can buy today that's the same price it was in 2007. So,
Yeah,
no.
for sure. The other thing that I loved that you said was EMFs keep the body stuck in fight or flight. And we know complex kids across the board, as a general rule, are stuck in fight or flight. We also know that they are exquisitely sensitive to EMFs. And so, yeah, it would a knockoff be less expensive money-wise? Yes. But would it be more expensive in the long run because you're not addressing what your problem is? In fact, you're probably making it worse.
Exacerbating. Yeah. You're making it worse.
So sometimes parents will say, oh gosh, I just don't think my kid will sit for 30 minutes with their feet in the water, or 5 minutes. Speak to that a little bit, and then I will too.
Okay, so the experience I've had is every parent who said, I don't know if my kid will do it. I've been at a show or a conference, and I said, can you bring your child? So they will bring the child, and the kid sits. I almost swore. The kid sits in the foot bath, right? It is relaxing. It is comfortable. We recommend warm to hot water in the tub, right? And then we introduce that frequency, that current, and it is calming. It's nice. One of the ways I describe this to people is the Leonard effect. The Leonard effect is a term used to describe waterfalls. So when water crashes, large volumes of water crash, even the waves on a shore, there's a natural ionization of the water, and an abundance of negative ions are created. It's not quite electrolysis, but it is an abundance of ions. And that's why walking on the beach feels so nice. That's why being by a waterfall is so calming. We're doing the same thing, much smaller volume of water, significantly greater concentration of ions, and that's why it feels good. But even then, let's say your child has an ASD diagnosis, and you're going to try this. We would say, depending on how sensitive your child is, maybe the first couple times you try the IonCleanse with your child, you just see if they'll sit with their feet in the foot bath, no IonCleanse, right? Just how do they respond to this? And that can give you some insight on if it's a good response, okay, move forward. If it's not, okay, what is going wrong here? How can I address that before you even introduce the IonCleanse? And then that's successful. And now, okay, you introduce the IonCleanse, just do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? And even if they're down to stay, say, okay, we're done, or move on, whatever it is. And again, not a sprint. Slowly introduce it, slowly incorporate it. But every child I've ever seen use the IonCleanse for a first time has sat there for 20 minutes and had no issues with it.
Yep. I have found the same. It's like intuitively the child knows it's helping them. And we have setups here because, we see so many kids. We have little chairs where they're comfortable, or we stack the tubs on each other so that their feet aren't dangling, right? You guys also sell a lid for the pan where feet can go in so the kids aren't tempted to put their hands in the water, which is nice.
Or
And
splash the water.
yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of kids, they love to do that, some kids, but, and we also encourage parents, save highly favored toys or, save a movie or whatever for IonCleanse time. And it really, kids are, I mean, literally, I'm exactly like you. I've never seen a kid who couldn't sit for the whole time. We've had to get creative with some kids before. It doesn't have to be your feet, right? It can be your body, it can be your hands. And so some people put the IonCleanse array in the bathtub with the child. I had one family once who had a large tote, like a storage tote. The kid liked to feel a lot of, input, proprioceptive input. So we put the water in the tote and the kid got in the tote and we put the array in and it was a complete success. So we've even had, we have a child here, she's a teenager now, but she has cerebral palsy and she has a lot of spasticity in her muscles. And so we rigged up a trash can, filled it with water. It was the perfect size to fit on her wheelchair where the footrests were. We put her feet in it and we bungee corded it so her spasticity wouldn't cause it to kick out. Perfectly successful IonCleanse. So, we're pretty good at getting creative when it comes to accommodations to help kids be successful around here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, love it. So, all right. So tell me about your money back guarantee.
Sure. So we understand that a lot of parents in this situation have tried many modalities, and a lot of these are expensive, and we get that. We offer a 60-day money back guarantee. So that means you purchase the IonCleanse, we ship it to you. From the day it arrives, you have 60 days to try it, and if it doesn't work, send it back to us. You get a full refund, no restocking fees, no hidden charges. This is not some sort of business model where we're going to make $200 every time someone returns an IonCleanse. No, it's a full money back guarantee. We are so confident that it's going to work. We say, look, try it for 2 months, and if it doesn't work, send it back. We'll give you all of your money back. Take that money and try another modality or something else. Like, it's rare. Does it work for everybody? No. I would say, in my experience, the people it doesn't work for whatever reason, don't use it. Whether it's that they don't have the time, they don't have the gumption, or for whatever reason, when we get a returned IonCleanse, there are minimal cleanses on it. If a family orders an IonCleanse and it's a mom and a dad and one child, you should probably be seeing somewhere between 6 and 10 cleanses a week, especially if the kid's doing 3 days on, 1 day off, right? And then mom and dad are each cleansing 2 days a week, right? Because the IonCleanse isn't just for people with an ASD diagnosis or PANS or PANDAS. It's detox for everybody, and it can benefit everybody. And we'll get a return back. They have had it for 5 weeks. We expect to see, 1,500, 2,000 minutes on it. We get it back, 72 minutes of cleansing. Well, no wonder it didn't work. It doesn't work from your closet. But even if that's you and you can't figure out how to incorporate it, I still say try it. If it doesn't work, send it back. You get all of your money back. Like, it is literally risk-free.
I love that, because you're right. There are so many. Like, I've been hanging with the autism community. It'll make me sound really old if I tell you for how long. But what I have seen over the years is,
as old as my beard makes me look.
There you go. So it seems like there's always the next bright and shiny thing for autism. And it is generally expensive, and, it gets parents' hopes up, and then sometimes that's warranted and sometimes hopes are dashed. And so that's one of the things I really respect about AMD, is that they're not predatory. This is not the next shiny thing. It is legit, and there's no risk, because even though I don't have a child with autism myself, I do it all day, every day. And I'm pretty protective of the families who come to me, and I never hesitate to recommend the IonCleanse here, or families to buy them for home use as well. So, okay. So if families want to learn more, I put your website up here, amajordifference.com. You've got research, you've got all kinds of resources, webinars, etc., on your website.
Yep. That amajordifference.com. If you want to get a hold of somebody here, you can just do charles@amajordifference.com. You could do sales@amajordifference.com, info@amajordifference.com. We're a small in-office team. I'm the newest employee, been here just over a year. I have 2 coworkers, Cassie and Debbie. They've been here for 10 years or 13 years and 10 years respectively. They're awesome. They're super friendly. They're very knowledgeable. We'll answer all of your questions. You can call, and if you need to be on the phone for an hour with us, be on the phone for an hour with us. Like, we don't mind. We know this is a big deal. You purchase an IonCleanse and you get it and it arrives, and you don't want to watch the quick start video, or you don't want to look at the instructions. You call us. We'll walk you through your first cleanse. Because, we're happy to do whatever we can to make this successful for you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. The IonCleanse is a big deal. It's a big deal for kids with autism and any kind of complex needs. So I just appreciate how well you understand the science of it, and what a nice job you did explaining it, and just encouraging families that, this is a really safe and effective intervention to support all people, complex kids, neurotypical kids, adults, complex adults. It's a fantastic technology, and I'm so grateful. I don't know how my clinic wouldn't be as successful as it is without the IonCleanse.
Well, super glad we could help. Really glad you came to that talk. If you're ever at a conference and you see the A Major Differences there and we're doing a talk, you could win an IonCleanse. We're still giving them away.
I love it. So everybody, if you have any questions at all, there's Charles's email address. And then, of course, there is the website. And you can always email me to drsonia@covenantwellness.net. I don't know the science as well as Charles does, but I sure love the technology, and I'm happy to talk about it. So thank you so much, Charles. It was great to see you after getting to see you in Phoenix just in September.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Okay, absolutely. Thanks, everybody.